third and long. Sing this song 'cause it's third and long. And now to your hosts, Tony Hunt, Andy Benedict, and Jesse Logan.
Pulling live. We are live. Coming to you live from McKinney, Texas.
Woo! Out here in Frisco, Texas. Don't forget Frisco.
So here we go. So this is episode 1 of the new Third and Long show. We're going to be coming to you guys live every week. It's going to be myself, Tony Hunt, my colleagues, Jesse Logan,
What's up?
Benedict.
How's it going?
We're going to be covering sports, and more sports. That's what we're looking to do here.
Pretty much sums it up.
This kind of came, this was my little idea. Popped into my head one night. Came to these
taking
two
all
nuts.
the credit.
I know, geez, already. Just, hey, you want me to go ahead and read through this screen and pat you on the back? And what
Yeah, if you could, that'd be great.
Okay, perfect. Well, there you go. Bop.
So first pat on the back, and we're 10 seconds in. So this should be a good show. So that's the background. Not a very good one. But, hey, we're going to get rolling. Just so you guys know, I've got the Ranger game going here to my left. We're going to keep you updated. Rangers are up 6-2, bottom of 5 right now, leading into the final series. Looks like they're going to clinch this one. But we'll cover that later, just so keep you guys updated if you need anything. First off, you guys want to go ahead and do some intros, I guess, let the people know who we are, what we're about. Just kind of kick it off, see where it goes. So, Ben, I'll pass it to you. You lead the way. Tell the people what you want to know.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds great. So my Andy Benedict, people call me Benny, so you're going to hear that referenced a lot. Sitting around with these two jokers, talking sports all the time, we said, hey, let's make sure we can put something down here and get our opinions out there. Looking to just talk some football tonight, see where it goes, and hopefully fill you with some insight and some opinions that might change your perspective a little bit.
Nice. My name is Jesse Logan, as you can see from the shirt. Originally from Kansas.
No one can see it.
Now. What's that, T?
No one can see it.
Stand
up. Show us where you're at.
I didn't know we were dropping. I didn't know we were dropping
Represent.
University plugs. So, geez, let me kick it back over to me real quick. I'll represent the Roadrunners. Back out here, pitcher for the UTSA Roadrunners.
Move along.
All right,
as
back to you,
Benny loves the spotlight, but
big
anyway.
Time.
Jesse Logan, and kind of as both of them touched on, this is all just intended to potentially provide a little bit of insight. I would also like to preface the fact that I'm currently 1-5 overall in my 2 fantasy football leagues. So take most of this information with a grain of salt. But we're really happy to have all of you here. And
real confidence builder. Oh man!
Wow.
But
this show's off to a rocky start.
Confidence on this show, and you need to just go ahead and implement. Pretty much anything that we say to you guys, because it's going to pay huge dividends for you. Maybe not for me, but for you, it's going to work out.
Yeah, that's great.
Boom.
And like I said earlier, I'm Tony Hunt. I am the brainchild of this little segment here. So, gentlemen, thank you. Thanks for joining. This should be fun. As you can tell, I went to Texas A&M. That's all you need to know about that. We'll move along. We'll keep this rolling. But I was sitting at the office today, and I got hit with a question of, hey, what's a sleeper in fantasy? What do we do? What do we want to do? What is a sleeper, right? You can't really call Jamal Charles a sleeper, right? Definition there. You can't do it. He's not a sleeper. So we kind of had that discussion. So I didn't know what you guys thought about it, where your head's at. What's technically a sleeper? I'll go to Mr. Dictionary from Kansas.
All right. Well,
technical term about what a sleeper is.
In order to define a sleeper, you must first define what a sleeper is not. All right. A sleeper is not someone who is established. So a lot of people coming into this year, they're like, hey, Andre Johnson, that guy's going to be my sleeper all year. All right. He's a multiple year Pro Bowler. You cannot consider Andre Johnson a sleeper because he's a household name. All right, so I want to go ahead and get that established. Now, point number 2, a sleeper is someone who is yet to have that true breakout performance. All right, so a person that comes to mind is a Devontae Freeman, last week drops 37 standard fantasy points on the Dallas Cowboys. Benny's in Tony Hunt's beloved Dallas Cowboys drops 37 points. That guy is a sleeper. And the reason I say that is, hey, yeah, a lot of people understand that he's going to get probably a lot of touches going in that game, but he has not proven one single thing in the NFL up until last Sunday.
Wow.
But I think, Jesse, with a sleeper pick, right, when a guy goes down and hurt and he's a two-headed monster backfield and a guy goes down and hurt, you're going to double your carries, right? The guy ended up having over 30 carries in the game, automatically doubles his production. So, yes, he could ultimately be, hey, he's a sleeper pick, but I think everybody instantly picked him up. And I think in my eyes, a sleeper, you're picking a guy that no one is going to pick, right? You're going down the list and you're trying to figure out, okay, what guy is no one on the radar? Maybe less than 10% of the people own this guy in fantasy, and I'm choosing to pick him. If you go back and look, I bet you there was multiple ads of Devontae Freeman even before the Cowboy game. I know in my fantasy I picked him up, right? So I wasn't betting on, hey, he's a sleeper. I think he's going to do great things, but yes, to a point, yes, you are correct on he hasn't done anything in the past.
Well, I think that's where we have to draw the line. You have to differentiate when it comes to your fantasy terminology, right? So a person could be a sleeper. Now, kind of what you intimated is, I think, what falls into the flyer category, right? And that's somebody who is probably under 10% owned that no one wants to touch. You happen to pick up a flyer and maybe the guy drops 10 points for you. The sleeper is more
like a Nate Washington or something like that. DeAndre Hopkins, Andre Johnson's out the door. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be that guy. Nate Washington, their second guy, maybe less than 10% of the people own him. Hey, I'm going to take a chance on him.
Yeah, with the quarterback play there in Houston, perfect example of a flyer, aging veteran. He might get you 8 to 10 points a game. Not a lot of people want to pick him up because he's not the most attractive pick out there on the waiver wire, right? But back to my point on Devontae Freeman, all right, he was only about probably 49% owned last week in ESPN standard leagues. And the main point is last year as a rookie, his career high in rushing coming into last week was 50 yards, all right? And his maximum number of carries was 11, all right? So very low career highs. He had not proven anything going into last week, and then he blows up 30 touches, 190 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, even people in fantasy circles that have played fantasy for a number of years, I don't think could have projected that coming and that type of workload, and then mainly that type of production, because he'd only average around 2.8 yards per carry going into that game. So that's my definition of a sleeper.
I think people would have picked him though going in, knowing he was going to get more touches. And when you look at like a Denver C.J. Anderson backfield, low productivity, they're looking for somebody that isn't splitting time with someone that's going to get the majority of the touches. They saw that in Freeman. And so I think you could have projected out a little bit better that he was going to have a better game than what some people would have had.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's becoming more and more. I mean, we're seeing that now. More and more of a rarity in present-day NFL is it's all about running back by committee. So anytime you get a guy who's going to get most of the touches,
you're rolling with him.
And try to get him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's
so according to ESPN, his running back ranking for week 4, he's number 11. Coming into this week, he's the 11th ranked back.
Yeah. Now, who does Atlanta play coming up?
Houston.
Okay. They got a good front line, right? So
now you got to take, in a 12-man league, right, which we all play in, do you go ahead and start or sit Devontae Freeman?
I think for me, I mean, based off of last week's production and the fact that Tevin Coleman is still out with that rib injury, I think it's a no-brainer. I think you throw him into either your running back 2 spot or your flex spot, depending on what your roster looks like. But especially in a 12-team league, it's hard to find a feature back, and Devontae Freeman is going to be that feature back again this week. So I think it's a no-brainer to start him.
You're absolutely rolling with Devontae Freeman in this, if nothing else at a flex position. Jay hits up a great point. When you don't have a lot of teams that are going with a featured setback, this guy's going to give that to you. If teams look to stop Julio, double team, you haven't seen any production from Roddy White, so you don't have to worry about there. They're going to look to turn to Devontae Freeman, and they're going to expect him to carry the ball 30 times.
And that leads me to another one that I had. From a sit or start standpoint, what do you do with Marshawn Lynch?
Really, I think now's the time you look to trade him. I just think that situation in Seattle is not one that you want to bet your team with. So if you can get some kind of value out of that, then I look to roll the dice. Now, you got to have some kind of running back that can fill that position. You can't go backwards when you trade him away. But I think that you have to entertain the idea of maybe getting something out of him because you might have seen the best of him.
Right.
Yep.
Well, and I think you look at the shelf life of an NFL running back. Marshawn Lynch he's over the age of 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, you have a lot of wear on those tires, and eventually, that tire is going to blow up on you. And I think you have to try to go out and get what you can. He was an early, first-round pick in just about every single league. He's the type of guy where it's really contingent upon touchdowns for him to get points. He's not always going to be beast mode, so it's all about his goal line production. And it really looks like Seattle's offense has kind of tapered off a little bit this year. They just now finally got Jimmy Graham involved. That receiving core is still relatively inexperienced. And we see now, he's dealing with a hamstring injury, an ankle injury. So I think it's probably time to go ahead and try to sell Marshawn Lynch and get what you can.
Boom. Great stuff. Dude loves the Marshawn. So moving forward, I mean, rolling into this week, who do you guys look to have a big weekend on the fantasy side? I was taking my pick first off overall, right? I don't know if you guys saw that Chiefs corner. Can't remember his name right now. Went down with a torn ACL. So the Chiefs defense is hurting right now. So my pick for this weekend is for Mr. Andy Dalton to keep the ball rolling.
Oh wow!
I think that that guy is keeping it rolling. He's off to a great start. Mr. Green is making his life easy, especially if they're going to have Hill and Bernard, either one of those guys showing up. They're going to do big things, and he's going to exploit and take advantage of those Chiefs from the KC. So that's my pick.
Hey, watch your mouth now.
Yeah. How does that make you feel over there, Jesse?
Hey, it is what it is. I married in to be a Bengals fan as well, my wife being from Cincinnati. So I really have all sorts of conflicts and interests this weekend going into that game. But at the end of the day, it's all about Chiefs Kingdom. So hopefully the Chiefs can shut down Dalton. Now, for me, my pick going in this week, and it's going to be – he's kind of in between that flyer sleeper role. And he's kind of, in my mind, kind of the next Devontae Freeman, but with a little production to back it up. And it's a rookie out of Buffalo by the name of Carlos Williams. They're taking on the Giants. They're actually hosting the Giants in Buffalo. And Carlos Williams, LaShawn McCoy, most likely not playing this weekend. He's been banged up since the beginning of the season.
Did they rule him out? Did they end up – I think they ruled him out today, didn't they?
I'm not sure.
I think they ruled him out for Sunday.
Yeah, I think they may have, which means, once again, this is an opportunity where Carlos Williams is probably going to get a bulk of the carries. He's probably going to get at least 20 touches. And I think he's really destined to have, probably 125 yards and 2 touchdowns against a Giants defense that really isn't that great. So be on the lookout for Carlos Williams. Probably need to go pick him up if you haven't already.
I think from the standpoint of, without getting into too much of a homer pick here, I definitely like and it's tough to do, right? But I definitely think that the Jason Witten side of the tight end position is going to be one that's going to be crucial this week in fantasy. I think with Whedon, we saw last week from him that he's looking to check the ball down. Right. He is. And he's not throwing outside the numbers. He's not throwing anything longer than 20 yards. Outside of Cole Beasley last week, catching a couple slant routes, no wide receiver for the Cowboys caught a pass. it was predominantly Jason Witten. And I'm going to throw another kink in that is Lance Dunbar. The guy I think is leading receptions for running backs right now. And actually, Matt Forte set the catch record by running backs. And he currently at this time was right around 19 catches, and Lance Dunbar already has 21 catches on the year. So if you're in a PPR,
go ahead and mark this real quick, because he said, I don't want this to be too much of a homer pick. And then he doubles down on it. And Dunbar.
Yeah, I did.
You might as well
but I just
own it that you're going to go with the homer pick.
Hey, I just think with Whedon, you're going to have the check down. You're going to have the check down options, especially in a PPR type of scenario, right? If you're looking at DraftKings, if you're looking at PPR,
here we go. That damn DraftKings can't get rid of this crap.
No, we don't need to talk about that. That's fine. I'm just letting you know. If you're in PPR, those are going to be guys that you want to roll with.
Here's my next thing is the knee-jerk bust, all right? And, Tony, I know you're probably going to lead into this, but I've never seen it be so prevalent as it has been here in the first 3 weeks of the NFL season. These first and second round picks that have provided absolutely no production. And as an owner of one of these guys, I'm really talking about a Marshawn Lynch, for instance, where you really want to get some touchdowns out of him.
C.J. Anderson.
Definitely C.J. Anderson. Even Andrew Luck, who's a first quarterback taken
big time
much every draft. He hasn't looked like himself. He hadn't really been able to settle in. And he's also shown that he's pretty susceptible to pressure. If you can get pressure on the guy. And then obviously some early season injuries. Des Bryant going down, first or second round pick in most leagues. So at what point do you feel like you kind of have to, give up on these guys, or do you go out and really just try to sell low? Hey, I just want to rid myself of a guy like C.J. Anderson. How do you handle a situation like that in saying, that early season knee jerk?
I think it all. Sorry, T. Go ahead, man.
No, man. It just depends on where you're at in your league. How many playoff spots are open. How many points can you risk holding on to your bench? What are you looking at? Do you have Dez? Do you have Romo on the same team? Are those guys already taking up bench spots? Who else is picking up the slack, right? You have big receivers. You have big quarterbacks that can pick up the slack while you try and ride it out. If you're in a deep 12-team league, it's not going to work. You can't wait. You can't hold out. If you can get value to win now, win now. Right? If you can get some equal consistency, or maybe someone is not going to put up a 20 or a 25 1 week, but they might give you a 10 to 15 on a consistent basis. You take it.
So your mantra is everywhere else in life, right? Patience is a virtue. But your mantra is in fantasy football, you can't just ride the wave. You got to go out and get production now.
You got to.
Right. You have to win.
You got to win where you can.
But I think you have to try and get something for it, right? I don't think you just go out and openly drop these guys. I think you have to try and see and test the water if you can make a trade for that. And that's where looking at the Marshawn Lynch situation, right? Do you go out and try and get a Mark Ingram? Do you go out and try and take on, someone that can give you some kind of production that might not have as much of a upside, but is giving you more of a consistent play? You definitely look at like a Des Bryant or a Tony Romo, and you have to reevaluate and say, okay, what is this bench spot taking up? Now, if there's nothing out there to go get, then you might as well hang on to him, because you don't need a guy that's going to go get you 2 points. You need a guy that's going to go and get you 10 and fill that spot. So it's kind of a double-edged sword looking at that.
Yeah. Well, let's do this. We could probably keep this fantasy talk going all night, and I don't want to bore anybody to death. They probably already bailed on our show. Our zero viewer count just went back down to 0. So let's try and at least bump it up to 1. I know my grandma will probably watch me.
Yeah, does 3 views by us count or what?
Right. We're basically at -3 right now. We can't count ourselves.
Okay, fair enough.
So here's what we're gonna do. We'll stick with the NFL. What we're gonna roll into. Let's get a little picks going on. Let's do this. I know we've taken a look at the weekend. We'll look at the weekend schedule. I'll kind of run through some games here real quick. We'll see what's going on, and then just give your pick, give your feel, give your why, and we'll roll through this. Hopefully, no one has too many big bets on this, and doesn't take us too serious, but I think we've got some pretty good talking points. So let's start out in Pittsburgh, tomorrow night's game. You're looking at a banged up Steelers crew hosting the Ravens at home. So whoever wants to take it, go ahead and let us know what you're thinking.
Oh, instantly go to Baltimore. Instantly go to Baltimore. I think that the bigger question coming in for the Steelers was the secondary, right? And Steve Smith just had a huge game last week, right? He's coming in. Flacco's coming in. They're without Ben Roethlisberger. Michael Vick hasn't taken many snaps at all. Yeah, you're looking to ride the wave with keeping Antonio Brown going. Le'Veon Bell's back. You're going to try and lean on those guys. But I got to think that the air attack from Baltimore is going to propel them to victory here in this one.
All right. Well, I'm going to go opposite there. I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think Vic is at a point in his life where he understands what kind of quarterback he is. He doesn't have to be the be-all, end-all. And I look at the Ravens, and I feel like they're almost in an identity crisis, all right? They lost Terrell Suggs. That defense is not the same without him. He was really the voice of that defense. Justin Forsett has not really lived up to the hype that he really brought in from last year. And if you look at the weapons around Michael Vick, I mean, Le'Veon Bell's back. He had 20-some touches last week and looked really good. He's going to be the thoroughbred. Just hand the ball to him. And when you have to pass the ball, you have the best receiver in the NFL in Antonio Brown. Get him the rock. You'll be fine. Heath Miller's sure-handed. So all he has to do is just take care of the ball. Don't turn it over. I think the Steelers win this one.
Wow, big pick out of there from Jess. I'm going to roll with Baltimore. I think the Ravens pull this one off. I think we're looking at Atlanta, Dallas Part 2. Pittsburgh's going to come out hot at home, light the scoreboard up, and then Baltimore's going to figure it out. There's only so much an old Vic can do, right? So the Ravens, they're going to play Flacco and them. They're playing well. They just got to find a way to win. I think they do it this weekend. In
an AFC North battle where they're going to light the scoreboard up. This is going to be a sight to see.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's keep this rolling. We're going to move into, I guess let's do big one out in Buffalo, right? We'll keep this close to home with the NFC East. Giants traveling up to Buffalo.
Well, I think for me, with the way Buffalo has looked at home, their sole loss was against the New England Patriots, which that's a team on fire right now. You don't even want to play them. And they hung around in that game. They had an opportunity to tie it late. The Giants look like they're in a state of disarray like they typically do starting out the season. I don't know what it is about Tom Coughlin. He's more of a second-half coach. Like I said, Carlos Williams, I think he's going to have a huge weekend. Tyrod Taylor's actually looked really good at quarterback, which, I mean, my mind is blown, from seeing that.
Agree.
And he's got some weapons out there on the outside with Percy Harvin. Not sure the health, that other receiver out there, whom I think can help me out here.
Come on. We're hosting a show here. We're supposed to know this stuff.
Well,
holy crap.
Receiver for who?
Sammy Watkins. So Sammy Watkins may not play, but at the end of the day, I feel like Buffalo is going to win this game. The Giants 1-2, they are looking very hot.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna roll with Jess' pick here and stick with Buffalo. I think to start the year, I would never have guessed that Buffalo would have come out as hot as they have. I think they found their quarterback. Their defense is certainly playing well. And I think Rex Ryan kind of revitalized that team out there. So I think there's something to say about a coach and a new coach coming in, putting his mindset into a team. Everyone knows what kind of coach he is. But I think once he got his hands on those players, boy, their attitudes have changed. And I think they believe they can win. And I 100% agree on the Giants. I just don't think that they have it quite figured out yet. They have a couple freaks of talent on their team. Odell Beckham Jr. is a guy that you put him in the Julio Jones, Antonio Brown category. But right now he's rolling with a one-man team. So if you can shut that down and you can shut him on the outside down, I think you stand a great chance to go and Buffalo looks to improve here.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. No need to be a dead horse, but I'm going to take the Bills with that one. I think they just got this thing rolling, and I hate the Giants, so it makes it easy, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it makes life easy. So here's an interesting game, right? We're going to head up to Indy. 1 and 2, right? Battle for the 1 and 2. Who can get back to 500? The Jags taking on the Colts. Colts are a 9-point favorite heading into this game.
But you got to remember, they came out today and said Andrew Luck's kind of day to day. So I think that it'll depend on that. But I still think if Andrew Luck's there, I think that they right the ship here against Jacksonville. I just don't think Jacksonville's shown enough yet to say, hey, they're going to roll into Indy and take it. So I think that the opinion could change if Andrew Luck is out. I mean, name more than 6 backup quarterbacks in the NFL. You really can't, right? And I don't even know who their backup quarterback is.
Hasselbeck, I think.
Matt Hasselbeck.
Okay, Matt Hasselbeck. That guy. You talk about getting long in the tooth. So I just think that Jacksonville stands a chance without Andrew Luck. I think Andrew Luck comes in and rights the ship if he is playing.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you one thing. I really thought Indy was going to get it together last week, and they really struggled against a not so great Tennessee Titans team. I think the Jaguars are vastly improved over last year. That defense showed near the end of last year that they can really compete. They can shut down the run. Frank Gore's had some struggles early on. I think the Colts in general, everything within the NFL revolves around battles in the trenches, and that Colts offensive line has really struggled. I mean, you see that Andrew Luck's hurt. Andre Johnson has not lived up to the hype. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go out on this limb. I'm going to go with Jacksonville here.
Wow.
I feel like they're going to pull the upset. I mean, like you said, a lot of it is contingent around whether or not Andrew Luck is going to play. But I feel like Jacksonville is going to surprise people. Bortles has been solid. Julius Thomas might come back and play this weekend. That adds another component there. The receiving core at Jacksonville is really solid. So,
wow,
that's City.
Yeah, I'm taking the chicken road out of this. I'm taking the Jags, but give me the points, please. Please give me 9.
Yeah, same here. Give me the points.
I'll go ahead and I'll take the points. I know we have to do it, but please give me 9. Good Lord.
Hey, I think you need to mark. I think you need to mark this pick though, and come back next week on it, and let's have a follow up because I think that this one is it's a tough pick, man. It's a tough pick this week.
I'm going with the gut on this.
Going gut feeling.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah. So all right. So here we go. So I'm gonna take this one. We're gonna go out to the KC Cincy game.
Oh wow!
All right, we're looking at a noon kick in Cincy. Dalton coming home, playing hot. You know, I'm taking the Bengals.
Oh,
baby, the Bengals.
I'm taking the Bengals.
I'm taking the Bengals. Bengals, 4-point favorites in this game. KC's struggling. I hate to say it 3 games in, but this is a must win for the Chiefs, and I just don't think they get it done. Sorry, Baldy. It's not happening.
Well, I'll tell you what.
So,
there's 2 things here. I'm really fighting between my head and my heart, right? Because in my heart, I want the Chiefs to win. I want them to play well. But I'm going to have to go with the Bengals in this game. If I'm going with my head and if I'm being unbiased, I feel like the Bengals are on a roll right now. Their defense has played very well. Alex Smith has really proven time and time again that they're not willing to throw the ball downfield. And you have to challenge teams deep in the NFL if you want a chance to win. They haven't done that. You can't just solely rely on Jamal Charles and Jeremy Maclin to get the job done. The Bengals have too many weapons, right? Andy Dalton's been really solid. Marvin Jones has come back to life, and he looks like the Marvin Jones for 2013 that had 10 touchdowns. A.J. Green is a freak in nature. Giovanni Bernard has really looked solid this year. So I'm going to have to go with the Cincinnati Bengals in this one. As much as I don't want to, I feel like they pulled it.
Who day?
Oh, man. I got to take Bengals just because they're at home. I think that I don't think KC's as bad as what we want to believe they are. I think they've shown
that good.
Right, exactly. I think last week was an anomaly, right? And Aaron Rodgers throwing for 5 touchdowns. I do, but I just think the AJ Green train is rolling. And like you said, the secondary for KC didn't show a lot. In the Packers game, the Packers just threw all over them. I know you got Andrew Rodgers, man, in the helm there. You got Randall Cobb, James Jones resurgence, but I just think that AJ Green and Andy Dalton keep it together here and roll through this one.
There we go. So let's go out to Washington, the NFC East.
Oh, man.
Let's not.
Stellar. Let's make this quick. Philly, Washington. I don't know where to start.
Can the game end in a tie? Like? Oh, it technically can end in a tie in the NFL. I'm pushing for a tie.
When you go at Donovan McNabb on that one.
Yeah, please do.
Eagles on the road are 3-point favorites.
Kirk Cousins has struggled. He's not that great. Matt Jones, I don't know if I really believe all the hype around him. Frankly, I'm going with the Eagles. All right, the Eagles just beat the Jets. One of the best defenses in the league last year. I think ultimately Chip Kelly's going to get it together enough for that team to be able to compete. And I just think, the Redskins are an absolute train wreck.
Agree.
I would be shocked if Gruden makes it through the rest of this season. Impossible to have any sort of longevity in your career there in Washington. I'm going Eagles all day on that one.
I agree. When you have RG3 sitting on the scout team and in street clothes on the sidelines, and it's too much of a circus on that front. I think that the Eagles, as much as I don't want them to, are going to get it together here for this game. I definitely don't see Washington putting up enough to come in and compete with the force of what the Eagles can do. I think Bradford is going to have to play a game. I think it'll come down to turnovers like it always does in the East. Is who's going to win that turnover battle. Whoever does is going to win that game. But I just feel like the Eagles are the better team. They should win, and I think they will win.
Yeah, I'm with you guys there. No surprise. Are you shocked that a Baylor quarterback couldn't get it done in the NFL? Really?
Oh, man. He already took it there.
So I've taken Eagles difference.
Halfway into show one, he's taking it down.
That's right. Shut him down.
Bias is all over the place.
Man, and he got to the college football segment yet, and he's already throwing this in there.
Right. So
I'm going to throw out one more little question here and answer it as quickly as you can. But who is, through 3 weeks in the NFL season, who is the trashiest team in the NFL right now?
Are we talking all-round picture with the front office and the whole debacle, or just on-field production? On-field
production. Who is a team that has looked the absolute worst in your mind through 3 weeks?
Up until a week ago, I would have said the Philadelphia Eagles were trash. And I think that not because they're the Eagles. I think that it's something where this whole big illusion of Chip Kelly running this mastermind, he's bringing his guys. It's going to be a freak of nature on the field. You're not going to be able to stop it. You better just hope to outscore them. To come and look the way they've looked over the first 2 games. Now, they got it together a little bit. I don't know if the Jets are for real. That verdict's still out. So who knows if it was a great win or if it was one that, hey, the Jets are who they thought they were, right?
Thought we were doing short answers. Good night.
All right, fine. Hey, I'll stick to Philadelphia Eagles. Move on. T, you're up.
Yeah, I'm going Bears. I think that's just a huge.
So much.
They've scored 46 points, given up 105. What
defense
in the hell are they doing out there?
I feel so bad. I feel so bad for John Fox. All right. That guy goes from the Broncos to the Bears. All right, talk about night and day difference.
Yep.
Well, good point. Since you stole mine, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to have to go with the Cleveland Browns. All right.
But is that a surprise?
I'm going to go with the Browns. All right. You have a simple decision, Mike Pettin. Okay. If McCown's coming back or not, all right, the McCown brothers are, born backups. All right. Leave him in that position. Start Manziel. I'm not a big Manziel fan, but at least he's bringing some electricity to the Cleveland Browns football team, something that they greatly need. And he basically just ignores that and goes back with McCown. So, once again, another train wreck. Great job, Mike Pettin.
All right. We got two games left. 2 games left. Here we go. So, big one out in Denver. Vikings, Broncos. Broncos are 6.5-point favorite coming into this game. A hot Adrian Peterson has caught his stride. He's already racked up 291 yards in 3 games, which the first game was just a warm-up for him. And I think they're figuring out a way to win. I don't know if it's Teddy, if it's AP, if he's the guy that's going to get stuff done. but I think they're going to turn the corner here, and they're going to get a big win on the road. So go ahead and give me the Vikings.
Going with the Vikes.
I'm taking it. AP's back. He should be a Cowboy.
He's buying the AP train.
They're going to ride that boy's back.
For me, that Broncos defense, I never thought I'd say this. It's always the talk with Peyton Manning there. It's all about the Broncos offense. But that Broncos defense is a force to be reckoned with.
They're for real.
One side, Von Miller on the other, the linebacking core. Aqib Talib was on an island by himself guarding Megatron and doing a pretty darn good job of it. So Peyton Manning with the defense that good, I'm going with the Broncos. You're right. I mean, the Vikings have turned around. Peterson, I mean, that's all you have to do. Don't overthink it. Hand the ball to Adrian Peterson. But against that run defense, I think the Broncos absolutely just dominate them. They go to 4-0.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't even believe that we would be talking about Peyton Manning's offense being in the bottom third, if not last. They had the worst offensive production in the league through 2 weeks, right? And we're talking about a Peyton Manning offense. But you're exactly right. I think that defense is clicking. They look really strong. They're rushing the passer. They got Von Miller. They got D Ware. D Ware's playing the best I've seen him play. I do think that Adrian Peterson's going to have a good day. I just don't think it's going to be enough to propel the Vikings over the Broncos. So I'm taking the Broncos.
Wow. And we'll do this. We'll wrap up with the big Sunday night. Let's go Cowboys Saints. Cowboys Saints. I don't know what to think about this one. I have no idea. We're still waiting to see if Breeze is going to help. Is he healthy? Is he going to play? It looks like he is. He practiced all day on Wednesday. Looks like he's ready to roll. But I just don't know how good they are overall, right? I think the Cowboys defense might be able to slow them down enough. But then again, I thought they were good enough to stop Atlanta, and look what happened. So, I hate to do it, but I'm going the home team. I'm going with the Saints. They're going to pull it out Sunday night. Breeze, Ingram, I don't know. I think they just get it rolling. It might be a tough battle. I mean, it's a pick 'em game. There's not even a line. It's a pick 'em.
Since it's a pick 'em game, sticking with my boys, going Cowboys. I just think, like you said, that there's not enough there within Drew Brees' offense. Hopefully the D shows up for the Cowboys. They lean on the run game and they pull out a victory. It's going to be a much needed victory with the bye coming up. They got reinforcements coming on the back end of that bye. So I'm going with them boys.
So moving right along. So picks, we got picks. We'll come back next week, see who's the big winner on picks. We're going to switch gears here. I think we've exhausted all the NFL we can. We've got a few minutes here. Won't take too much more time, but let's do a quick highlight overview of some college football. I know we've all got some strong opinions, and we'll run through this schedule real quick. I'm just going to go through some top games of the weekend in the top 25. And the first one starts over there in Amon G. Carter in Fort Worth, when the much struggling, as much as I love to say it, I hate to say it, the Longhorns are in need of a win, and they're taking on a tough TCU team. So I don't see it happening. I don't see a win coming from the Longhorns in TCU. I don't even see any points coming out of Texas this weekend. I don't know what's going to happen.
Texas, I think, has found their quarterback. I think Hurd's come in and done a terrific job of filling that void. Swoops is moved to a backup position. The guy he's got passed up, I think, at this point. What a two-game loss string here for Texas. Special teams has killed them. But that being said, I do not think that they have enough firepower. I do not think that they're good enough to hang with TCU, especially out in Fort Worth. So I'm picking the Horned Frogs in that one and taking down the Longhorns.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, Texas has turned things around, but I think, the last couple of weeks have shown you how important special teams is. That's why coaches always preach all three phases. It's one thing to have a good offense and a good defense, but if you can't make extra points to tie the game and go into overtime, or if your punter can't catch the ball, you really don't have a shot to win, especially with all the other struggles there. They're starting to do a lot right, but they're not going to have a chance to hang with TCU in Fort Worth. TCU blows them off the field. You're right, though, Andy. I mean, they definitely did find their quarterback, and I think they do have some positives, kind of a silver lining. But that's TCU all day there.
Got it. So, and then another one, big one, we'll stick to the Big 12. Never thought I'd say I'd stick it in the Big 12, but we'll go ahead and stick there. Big game up in Norman. The number 15 Sooners host number 23 West Virginia. It looks like West Virginia is coming back on track, both 3-0. West Virginia's defense has really stepped up for them lately. I haven't seen too much. Caught the game last week. I mean, they look solid. It looks like Dana Holgorsen's got that team really rolling out there, but then again, Baker Mayfield's got Oklahoma rolling again. So I don't know. I think you got to give it to Oklahoma, the home team, I guess, right? They're 7-point favorites coming into it, but I don't know. This one's interesting. This could go either way. Any given Saturday, I guess.
Like you said, I don't really know enough about West Virginia right now to speak to that. I mean, I guess their signature win so far is against Maryland, beat them 45-6. They usually have a pretty up-tempo offense. They can put some points up in a hurry. I think Oklahoma, probably blows them out, though. They actually did. I mean, it was a really good game last year, and it came down to the wire. But like you said, Baker Mayfield's playing a lot better. I think he's really got some confidence. That win against Tennessee at Neyland Stadium was huge for him and that Oklahoma team, and I think Oklahoma pulls that one out.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think that I don't probably know enough about West Virginia's team. It's hard to bet against somebody coming into Norman, though, and knocking off Oklahoma. So I'm going to stick with the Sooners. I'm going to think that they get the job done at home.
Yep. And here's some other games to keep an eye on this weekend. Tech and Baylor squaring off in Jerry's World in Arlington at 2:30. That game will be on the Deuce. So I think we should.
We're going to find out real quick if Tech's for real.
That's right. Baylor comes in as a 17-point favorite. I think.
Oof.
I would definitely give me Tech with the points, right? Obviously. And
yeah.
I think so. They're going to put points up.
Hey, I will bring this up, T. I want to hit on before the show ends here. I want to hit on Alabama being an underdog for the first time since I can remember, right? And what a feat coming in and being the favorite in every game you've played. And I'm not sure on the exact time frame that it dates back to, but I mean, you're talking bowl games. Yeah, you're talking.
It was 2006, and I think it was the Sugar Bowl.
Jeez.
Oh wow.
I mean, that's unreal. So not only regular season, but we're talking bowl games as well. And so I think that's crazy that they've been able to pull that off. And I'll be curious to see how they respond back, right? They always manage to lose early. If they are going to lose, it's a strategic loss, almost like I feel. If you're going to lose in college football, you lose early, right? So that you can pad that back half of the season, build your resume back up, and snake your way into a top 4 team.
It's almost like a moral victory. I mean, do either of those two truly exist?
They do and they don't, right? You don't want to have a strategic loss, but if you are going to lose, you want to, in college football, you want to lose in the first, 4 games, I would think, right? First 4 games, you can escape a loss. You get in the last 4 games.
Putting it together and then going and winning the SEC West. So, I mean, you can't really count them out. And we don't know if Georgia's for real yet or not. I mean, they definitely have some good weapons. Nick Chubb out there in Athens is a really solid back, and part of the lineage that Georgia always has quality running back. But it'll be interesting to see. But you can never count Alabama out. I can tell you that much.
Not at all.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on. That's the afternoon game there on CBS. Moving it, there's not much else after that. I mean, moving into the night sesh, you got Ole Miss traveling to the Swamp. That should be interesting. Ole Miss comes into town 7.5-point favorite. We'll see if they're legit, if Florida's legit. I mean, Ole Miss proved themselves against Alabama, but how much is that really proving yourself? We don't know if this is an Alabama team that we're used to seeing over the last 9 years. But it'll be interesting to see what Florida can do. And then you got heading in, you got Mississippi State traveling to College Station to take on the Ags.
Of course, you fit that one in.
Yeah, right.
I mean, come on, it's a top 25 battle. And then the big game at night. I think everyone wants to watch this game. The Notre Dame Clemson, right?
Right.
Can Clemson? Yeah. It's a pick'em game. There's lines even. So can Clemson hold up to the hype being at home? Or are they going to fall flat again like they do every year on national TV?
Can't win the big game, but will they win the big game? That's the question, right? So I'm going Clemson. Gut feeling Clemson.
Yeah, I'm going Clemson in that one as well. I mean, I think Notre Dame has been through so much. They barely pull out that victory against Virginia. I think it's eventually going to catch up to them. And I think Clemson takes them down because that quarterback there at Clemson is a stud. So I think Clemson wins that one.
Yep, and as much as I hate to say it, I'm actually going to take Notre Dame with this one, boys.
Oh, all right.
Man.
I just can't buy into Clemson. They can't do it. And you got to watch out for that running back at Notre Dame, that CJ Prosey, whatever you say his name is.
Sounded really confident with that one.
Yeah. Stick to it and own it. It's like an umpire, man. Make the call and stick to it.
4 games, he's got 600 yards. Most of that came when they played UMass last week, but we'll take it. I think it'll be a tough battle. It'll be fun. Good ratings for ABC.
Perfect.
Good. That's good. I mean, that's we covered a lot. I mean, episode 1 pilot. We'll see who picks us up. I mean, we're gonna go big time right off the bat. I mean, we might be renewed for episode 2. I don't know.
We definitely put the long in, third and long in this first episode.
Yeah, I definitely was hoping we'd get to 30 minutes. I think we blew that right out of the water. So we'll be back every week. I hope if you're out there, if you watch us, you like it, you enjoy it, share it, tell your friends, neighbors, send them the link. We'll be around next week. Look for our videos. We got a YouTube channel. We'll send out all the info. We'll give everyone what they need to check us out later on.
I really picked the Jaguars to beat the Colts. I'm already regretting that.
Yeah, you're gonna hate
Hey, I marked it. I think that's the one we need to look back on.
Oh.
Yeah. So same time, same place next week. We'll see you guys. Be safe out there.
Yep.
Thanks for watching.
See you guys.
Third and long, third and long. Sing this song 'cause it's third and